Hey! So remember that time when I made a schedule and then immediately didn't follow it? Because I sure don't. And here I am thinking that if I advertise the fact that I have a schedule, I'll at least try and commit to it, but no. Apparently my inability to commit is something Noah Puckerman and I have in common. And while I do have perfectly legitimate reasons for why the Poland and StarKid video are still whip, that's work in progress by the way, and if you didn't get that, you've probably been reading too much 50 Shades of Grey. This week is about how much we love each other and all that jazz, so I'm not going to waste your time with excuses. Just let it be known that I do have them. And that those videos will be up as soon as the forces that be stop crapping on my computer. Not literally. So a year and a bit ago, Marisha went to go camp out at 7 AM in front of Cineplex South Common Theatres to start the 17-hour wait that would soon change our lives forever. The rest of that story is pretty much common knowledge for any of you if you've watched any of the other videos, but the Reader's Digest version is that Marisha and I are not the only nutters that will wait 17 hours for a movie, and if you combine some nutters with more nutters, you'll just combine them all to make one big nutter fest of nutterdom. And then the Goobers were born. Oh. Now I could spend the rest of my video time talking about how amazing you all are, like how this one time I was feeling like complete crap and then Kelsey texted me in caps lock for literally 2 hours until I finally had to start laughing just because she's that ridiculous. Or how Karen is so freaking intelligent and how her wit is for reals beyond measure and how her and I once bonded to make Amy cry over Darren Criss pictures. That one is actually literally, seriously, if you don't believe me, just look at the video and the thingamajigger. Speaking of crying, I could talk about how Amy's voice literally makes me cry every other time she sings because her voice is pretty much like the rest of her, which is just too good to be real. No, seriously, every time I see her, I feel like poking her to make sure she's not a Pixar character. Or how Natasha's just this beautiful soul with this beautiful voice and how she probably doesn't see herself too clearly, just like the rest of us, but she's all the more amazing and genuine for it. Or how Sarah, never mind being the most amazing photographer ever, simultaneously manages to be the most shy and the most adorbs person that I know, never mind the most hilarious. Or how Marisha made the last 7 years of my life the best 7 years of my life just simply by existing. I could talk about that, but I won't. Because I'm determined not to cry in this video. See? It's not in the script. Instead, I'm gonna talk about myself, cause that's how I roll, yo! Like every other person in the world and their mother, Harry Potter has changed my life in 200,000 million ways. About this many ways. But because this is Brutal Honesty Week and we're all about sharing our feelings, I am going to highlight one way in particular. In my first year of university, I was diagnosed with something called clinical depression. It's pretty much as horrible as it sounds. Just to dispel a couple myths, depression does not mean that I spend all my time huddled in a corner crying my eyes out. Unless it's Tuesday night and Glee is on, then that's exactly what it means. Depression does manifest itself in different ways, but in the ways that count, it's just like any other illness with its own set of medications, symptoms, and subvarieties, etc. What it meant for me in particular is that I spent a lot of time isolated from other people, especially in my first year of university. It also meant that some mornings I'd wake up and decide that today is National Everything Sucks Day and everyone in my immediate social circle of friends will have to just deal with it, so help me Misha. One of those Everything Sucks days was actually the January 2012 breakfast where we all met for the second time, ever. Most of you will remember that I was late for that breakfast, and here's what. Around 9:30 AM, I'd completely settled on not going at all because National Everything Sucks Days require solitude and a lot of ritual sacrifices, and really when you're throwing beanie babies off of makeshift cliffs, who has time for pancakes? I do remember very distinctly being on the phone with Marisha that morning and being in the process of giving her my usual excuses. The dog ate my homework, Grandma needs a hip replacement, aliens are invading and I need to capture a video of my mom trying to attack them with Windex. When all of a sudden, Natasha's voice starts ringing in my ear and saying something along the lines of, "Yara Jane Kudisha, I am absolutely disgusted. Your father is facing an inquiry at work and it's entirely your fault if you put another toe out of line." The point is that she was very stern. And honestly, Natasha, if you hadn't yanked the phone out of Marisha's hand, I probably wouldn't have even come to that breakfast. And God even knows if the Goobers would have been born. Okay, so I'm sort of rambling now, but what I am trying to get at is this. There are some things you can't share without ending up liking each other. And yes, we didn't exactly have a 12-foot mountain troll to knock out at the time. But we did have the premiere of the last movie of what is probably the most influential series of our generation. And thanks sodding Merlin for that.